Well, I'll take you back to a live transmission of the Securities and Exchange Commission Stakeholders Forum with the theme Potential for the Nigerian Economy through Proactive Capital Market Legislation. That's happening in Abuja now.
This is a live Channels television event.
Cost reduction. The market agreed that we need to reduce cost. We did a survey and realized that in all the jurisdictions we looked at, except Ghana, Nigeria is the most expensive jurisdiction in terms of doing business. The report is almost ready, but because of the state of the market, we are holding on to the report probably to next year. Responsible rule making, complaints management framework is also an area that we've done quite well in terms of implementing the master plan, which now gives opportunity for other trade groups. So for instance, if a client has a problem with a broker or a fund manager, rather than coming to SEC, that issue should now go to their trade group, either the fund management associations or the stockbroking association, to now look at the issue. If the issues are not resolved, then they will now escalate the matter to their SRO. It is when those issues are not being resolved that you now come and meet the big boss, which is SEC. And very soon we are going to release that complaints management. At SEC we are ready, but we are waiting for one particular trade group that needs to give us a feedback. They also emphasize on the need for us to have a shared services. So all these initiatives is what has been incorporated in the master plan, and we've been able to achieve it in 2015. 2016, ladies and gentlemen. For 2016, we're looking at promote ownership of the master plan at national level. Like I said, every year we come up with initiatives, and we drive those initiatives. The major driver of the master plan is the CAMIC, the Capital Market Implementation Council, headed by Mr. Tola Mobilori. Already, we have an appointment next week to see 3 ministers, and the following week, the committee will also see the Vice President, and also the Senate President and the Speaker House of Reps. This is, again, with the intention of having the ownership, like I said, at that level. Promote listing. This is also an area that we're looking at for this year. National Savings Strategy. We are partnering with all the stakeholders. A concept paper has already been prepared, and one of the issues that we're going to discuss with the ministries of budget and planning and finance is how we can cultivate a savings culture in this country. Capital market literacy. One of the key things that made Malaysia and India to be successful is the capital market literacy program that they have, where they devote a particular week for capital market. But we're expanding it to now have a financial literacy so that we now bring in central bank, PENCOM, and other stakeholders. So these are also the initiatives that we're looking at for 2016. We are also looking at deepening the venture capital and private equity. And there's an ongoing discussions with the FMAN, the Fund Management Association. Also define minimum ICT standard. We think this market needs to have a harmonized IT standard. The kind of IT infrastructure that FMDQ uses is different from the one Stock Exchange uses and NSD uses. So we want to centralize the IT standard so that anybody that wants to, so that all of us can now be on the same page. The derivatives is also very key in our market. Integrated financial system, and we've been told that we need to also align our reporting channels within ourselves, SEC and the other trade groups. And already discussion has started between us and Stock Exchange. They gave us example of what happens in South Africa between FSB of South Africa and Johannesburg. I was so excited when Oscar gave me that example, and I said, yes, I'm ready to go with that example if we can take it holistically. And I say in Johannesburg or in South Africa, the FSB of South Africa prepare its budget and give it to Johannesburg and say, go and find the money for me. So I told Oscar that I'm ready to take the South African model If I also sit down and prepare my budget and give it to Oscar and say I need 10 billion naira for 2017, then I'm ready to do that. Now, one key issue that is important in the master plan is product development and market liquidity. We've been complaining that there's no liquidity, and those that have liquidity are complaining that there are no products. In March 2016, data from PENCOM shows that Nigerian PFAs invest only 8.16% of their assets in domestic listed securities. Nigerian PFAs allocate the lowest assets to equities among our peers in the world. South Africa pension funds invest 73% of total assets in equities. Botswana 70%, Namibia 66%, Swaziland 57%, and even much smaller and shallow stock markets than Nigeria. These are even more smaller markets. And the world average for allocation of PFAs to equities is 42%, which is more than 4 times what we invest. Securities lending, we have not been able to drive the securities lending in this market. Even with more room for further allocation of equities, Nigerian PFA, as the largest pool of domestic savings, holds significant volumes of shares that could be the key to activating the securities lending. The PFAs on their own part also says that they have openly lamented the lack of products to invest in with our market. The SEC has done its part by developing a robust regulatory framework for products like sukuk, securitization, securities lending, REITs, infrastructure funds. It therefore beholds operators to get serious about producing these products. So on one part, we now say PFAs, you people are not even meeting your threshold. And the PFAs are saying that there are no products. So to us, as regulators, we have provided all the enabling environment. We have come up with all the routes. And it's now a challenge to operators and the issuers to come up with the products. And that is why you can see the level of investments from the PFAs is just 8.1% against its threshold of 30%. And with the new guidelines they're coming up with, they're even ready to increase the thresholds above 30%. So it's a challenge to the operators and to the issuers to bring products to the market. What is our goal? The legal impediments to the master plan implementation process, which I think is the hallmark of this seminar. Where do you want to go? In our opinion, one of the major impediments is the IST, Investment and Security Tribunal. In the world, once you share with them that Nigeria has IST, Investment and Security Tribunal, and you explain to them what that tribunal does, they begin to think that we are not saying the truth, because they are extremely surprised and impressed that we're able to come up with a tribunal like this one. But there's jurisdictional conflict between the Investment and Security Tribunal and the Federal High Court. Section 274 of ISA, which grants IST exclusive jurisdiction over capital market disputes, versus Section 251 of the 1999 Constitution. So in our opinion, one area that we need to look at as quickly as possible is to find the legal status of IST.